Yo, what's good YouTube? So in this video, I'm going over email copywriting and how to write copy that actually sells. So in this guide, I'll show you exactly how to write copy that gets read, craft emails that drive immediate action, and create a consistent copywriting system for you to use and consistently convert your customers. And you want to leverage psychological triggers that make buying feel inevitable. So email copywriting in 2025 is just a reality that most brands aren't willing to face. Nobody is reading your emails. Trust me, they're not reading every single word you're saying. Not really, anyway. So when we order new e-commerce clients, here's what we typically find. Emails get packed with just walls of text. You see this right here. It's generic. It's for big, forgettable subject lines. It's very generic copywriting in general. Most brands I actually see they use AI in a totally wrong way, because if you take 100 brands and they all use the same AI with not the best prompts, you're just gonna get the exact same copy for actually each of the same brand. Just switch out the company name. So copies is just boring, and it talks about the brand instead of the customer. There's zero clear CTAs, and it's actually always buried somewhere hidden in the email. This is a very bad email, and I'll show you a before after design in a minute. But the most painful truth is that you have less time to capture your attention than ever before. You know about this. TikTok has ruined everything. So maybe 5 years ago you had 10 seconds to grab someone's attention. Today you have around like 3 to 5 seconds maximum. Because think about this one. When was the last time you watched a movie in the theater or on Netflix on your TV without scrolling your phone? I was once a substitute teacher for 12 to 16-year-olds when I was a bit younger. And let me tell you, 50% of these students, they couldn't sit still through a class, through a movie, through a quiz, through a game, or whatever we've done. Everybody always did something else. So no one is actually sitting down to read your emails like it's a novel. They're checking in between tasks, they're walking to the bathroom, they're sitting on the bathroom, they're maybe waiting for the kids' bagel to be finished, right? So all of this stuff, bear that in mind when doing email copywriting. So who am I? I'm JP, I'm co-founder of Marketti. Probably know me by now, but we transform email marketing from a clickbait afterthought. We've worked with tons of brands in Northern Europe and Scandinavia, and actually just globally. You'll get access to this Gamma doc, so you can click some of these links and just do this all by yourself. But the foundation of high converting email copy is actually very simple. But before we dive into the specific task, you need to understand the core framework that underpins all the high converting copy. You have the purchase behavior, email and site engagement, acquisition source, and your demographic and preferences. So we like to do this by having like 3 pillars of email copy. It's going to be easy, it's going to be clear and concise, shout out to Max, and it's going to be appealing. So easy, how can they skim your emails and still get to the main point? Is it clear? Is it concise? Is only one takeaway? Or are you just mashing 10 different kinds of ideas into one email? And is it appealing? Is it any content that triggers emotion, creates interest, and drives action? Or is it just boring stuff and people are reading like, why am I reading this? Get this off my screen. So you need to maximize all of these 3 in order to create email copy that sells. And here's why some or most brands actually fails at this task. It's not easy. It's wall-to-wall text, as I just showed you. There's no clear visual hierarchy. The key points are just buried in paragraphs. Split these up, make some USPs, for example, make small, funny, quick lines or sentences. There's no bolding, bullets, or formatting style to guide the eye, especially when you're, for example, if you're doing a quiz or something, you have one up here, and then you can go into the different kinds of, tree branches and so on. Not clear, not concise, multiple competing messages. As I mentioned, you only want one takeaway. It's vague, it's fluffy, no next clear step, too many benefits. It's not appealing, it's corporate, sterile, but just boring. Sterile? Generic phrases everyone uses, as I mentioned, because they use AI wrong, or they don't even know how to write copy for themselves. There's no personality, there's no brand voice. It fails to trigger any emotion or curiosity. This is why your email copy is actually not working at all. So when you're doing all of these 3 stuff, this is where the magic happens. And that is why you can create emails like this. Now I've just taking a random store and I found some pretty good emails in here, as you see, from what's this, Sniff, and what's this brand? I can't even see, but yeah, you get the point. So people actually read these or skim these emails and get to the main point and take action. You think anybody's gonna read all of this stuff? No, it's not going to happen. So how do we actually get your emails read? Your subscribers aren't reading your emails. They're just scanning them in 3 seconds or less. 80% of people read either your subject line or your headline if they open them. Only 2 to 5% will actually read every word, and that's very rare. And it depends if you're a brand that relies on heavy copywriting, or you can do like fashion where you show off stuff, right? So for example, not skincare brand, supplements brand. These can be more copy and it's a storytelling and so on. But if you have another store that's essential for the design, don't do this, because your job isn't to fight reality, it is actually to work with it. So the 5 tactics that make your emails instantly more skimmable: you want to have a clear visual hierarchy, you want to have one idea per paragraph, keep them short, you want to use bullet points if you have multiple benefits or like unique selling points. Create breathing room. You see this a lot in LinkedIn posts. They do, everybody presses enter and create some breathing room. Use subheadings to create sections. If you have a long email, this is very key for you. So again, you see this right here from here. There's a very big difference in here what you can do for the before or after. So one email, one message, one outcome. The more points you try to get in here, the fewer will actually read it. So you want to have one single-minded messaging. This is magic here. When you try to communicate 5 benefits in one email, the number is going to be actually a bit lower than this. But if you focus on one thing, you're going to get 100% of their attention. This isn't just theories, what we've actually tested across a lot of different brands. So every time we've done one email, one message, one outcome, it gets way more revenue because people are not being confused and you get 100% of the attention, right? Sorry, just have to cough that. So the 3C formula for clear, concise copy. Every email you write, core message, cut the fluff, and compelling next step. What do you want them to do? Eliminate everything else. Just focus on these 3. And words and phrases you want to not have in your email, don't hesitate. Just touching base. We wanted to reach out. As you may know, we hope this email for you can never use this. Please don't ever use this. Just scratch it. Make it a red list. So what could it be like? Your skin minus the breakouts, bad. Our new face wash was clean. Our. This face wash does one thing, stops breakout before they start. Clear call to action. Feel free to check out our collection when you have time. We have lots of options that might interest. No. See the full collection down below. Strip down the messaging. Bad. All of this stuff not getting read. After 18 months of testing, we've cracked the code. A serum that reduces. Clear, concise. Let's get to it. So you want to make people feel something. They buy on emotion, then justify with logic. You've heard this a lot of times. It's just the truth. If your emails are not, making people feel, they're never going to buy. So this is it's fun. I got this from my friend Max. They're on us. So get a free gift. Your next order, the shipping is on us. I don't know. People just like it, and we've tested this out in every single country with clients in. It works. Treat yourself. You know that this is being used, especially for luxury brands. Oh, go ahead, treat yourself. You deserve this, yada, yada. Less than $1 a day. Our subscription cost for less than $1 a day, get unlimited access. Cheaper than coffee. This is a comparison because if you compare something, this works in many different cases actually. If you compare some, if it's sales, if it's e-commerce, if it's your friends you're talking with, do comparisons. They're lovely to do. So for less than a daily coffee, you can get better skin instead of saying the price upright. Invest in yourself. You know this about the courses, and I think in sales also. Invest in your business, invest in yourself, and so on. Learn skills that pay for themselves. So instead of saying this only cost X, do it this way. And here we have emotional language that sells. So you have some desire, fear, and trust words, and urgency words. So again, I won't go too into these so you get access to this gamma doc. But again, we have some lists of words that we don't want to use and sentences we don't want to use. Include some of these words in your email. So what's a good getaway? Your subject line has one job, is to get the email open. It's the sole thing of the subject line to spark like curiosity and so on. Nothing else matters if they haven't seen it or open it, right? So create a gap between what they know and what they want to know. So this changes everything. I wasn't expecting, nobody's telling you this. You see all of these, it's kind of like a hook in your content also. Personal direct feels like from a friend. Quick question, did you see this? Thoughts on this? Value driven, communicates clear value, 5 minutes. FOMO, creates fear, last day 4, there's specific numbers. This works really well if you have like an analytical audience, or if you have someone that chasing dreams and so on. And again, it's kind of a comparison set. to get this. So what's preview text? It's the forgotten conversion element. You don't want to repeat your subject line. You don't want to use generic text. Don't leave it blank because then it just pulls something random. I think it's actually always the beginning almost, but you want to use it to complement and enhance the subject line. You don't want to do it every single time. I'll give you some examples, but add extra curiosity or value, make it work together. So you could do a compo that's like this. We need to talk about what happened. Last chance for summer while everyone pays, yada yada. This mistake is costing you, da 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 da. You don't always want to do this because that gets kind of annoying actually, and always split test and test different types of subject lines. So you want to determine your goal when you're writing a copy and having a process. That's the first step before writing a single word. What one action do you want readers to take after reading this mail? And by now, it's not enough. What exactly should the buyer through which link, with what offer, and so on. So you want to create your outline. Don't actually start with just writing. Start with the structure, subject line, main headline, subheadline, key points, supporting elements, call to action. That's it. And then just almost word vomit, just write fast, and then you can edit afterwards. So get everything out the way with the self-editing. You want to write as you are talking with a friend. This is one of the key benefits I have because I've never written academically. That's why I was, bad in school, because I always wrote as I was talking to a friend. And my teachers were actually, didn't hate it, but they say, you're not getting into a good school if you keep doing this. Well, now this is working well, so that's perfect, right? And then when you have all of this, then you want to edit. And don't write an email and edit it on the same day and then send it out. You want to have at least one day to check everything through, actually. Enhance with visuals. Always have some kind of visual in here. Determine which points would be better as infographics. These are really key in emails. And create a visual hierarchy with formatting, supporting imagery that enhances, not distracts from your messaging. Visuals are great. Designs are great. Sometimes you want to do only copy. That depends on your case. Test, measure, and optimize. No email is perfect. Always be testing, as I mentioned. Long, short, test CTAs. Different infographic, always test the subject lines, obviously. You want to track the right metrics. Open rate tells you about your subject line. Click rate tells you about your content and CTA. Conversion rate tells you about your offer, if your website is converting. And revenue per recipient tells you the true bottom line. So you want to go a bit beyond. You can do some of these advanced techniques. So what I just showed you is all of the fundamentals. Personalization is great, but a personalization is not hi first name. That's an automation. So you want to do something more and a bit deeper. So if they're browsing on something, we notice you were looking at X product. Purchase history segment, since you loved our product. Engagement, for our most loyal customers, yada yada. If you have location, you can do some of this. For example, I live in Denmark, so it's always like windy and raining here. Again, compare it with something else. And there's a power in email copywriting because you're doing storytelling and you're doing story selling. So stories engage the brain in different. They engage the brain differently than straight marketing copy. So there's direct response copy and there's storytelling copy also. You want to use some customer reviews or customer stories. You want to create a brand, something that builds connection and build a relation with your customers. Develop product origin stories that justify, the pricing if you are a more expensive brand. You want to share founder stories that humanize your brand. You can do a lot about this stuff. You can introduce your team, the behind the scenes and whatnot. But most importantly, you also want to do some pattern interrupts because your subscribers, they're actually blind, reading the same email every single time, and they get, 10 emails every single day from their, subscribers. What the email subscribers it had, right? So use some unexpected images or GIFs, interactive elements, unusual formatting or layout, surprising statement or question. Again, test this out. If everybody's 6, then you want to zag, right? You want to have a consistent brand voice. So a core brand personality trait, you can always use this. I see this of brands that they're not doing this. They're just, again, it's like AI written copy, I call it, where it doesn't really make sense sometimes. So use some phrases that your brand and you would use and phrases your brand would never use. Highlight these always, so make sure that, you don't just do what everybody else does. And you can mix it up in different kind of variations. So for example, if a founder brand, plain text email, that's a different type of tone. If you're creating like a personality and a hyper designed email, right? The common copy problems, and here's how to fix them. So experienced copywriters, they always make this mistake. I do these too, but here's how to identify it and fix the most common problems. So generic, forgettable copy could be written by any brand in your industry, uses comments, phrases as everyone else, lack specific details. The solution: add these brand specifics, include specific numbers and data points. Your unique perspective or philosophy. Everybody's different. Why not, stand out? I can never say this word. I had this in a while, but you want to use proprietary terms for common concepts. So if you're just boring, get someone else to look at your email and ask them to be direct and be honest about what they actually think of it. Feature heavy, benefit light. If you're just listing all the features, people actually don't care. They care what benefits them. So if you do what the product has, and we have this, and it does X, Y, and Z, yada yada. You focus on specific specification. It fails to connect with your customers' outcomes. You wanna always convert every feature into a benefit. So use the which means that technique. This is a lot of, if you say we have this product, this means that it will solve X, Y, and Z. You want to focus on transformation, not a transaction. And this is when you're talking with someone, if you're talking about a transformation and not a transaction in terms of I need you to buy this because X, Y, Z. You want to focus on what they will get out of if they buy your product. So always make the customer the hero, not your product or your business. The weak call to action problem: click here, learn more. These are boring as fuck and they never ever drive any real action. Buried at the bottom of the email, you want to have multiple CTAs, obviously, multiple competing calls to action. If you have like 7 CTAs that says something different, people will just get confused and there's no clear next step. So use specific benefit-driven CTAs. You want to place the CTAs above the fold, and you want to have different kinds of, you want to have the CTAs in the different kinds of parts in the email. Again, create a visual hierarchy with button designs, and you want to eliminate and demote secondary CTAs. This means that if you have one CTA, one simple one, just use that throughout your email, right? You can do it too, but you get the point. Overwritten, fluffy copy takes so long to get to the point. Fill with adjectives and adverbs. Use the 20 words, and 5 would actually be enough. Multiple paragraphs just saying the same thing, repeating it, just a no-go. Cut at least 30%. As I said, just word vomit, don't edit it just right now. Take a breather and come back to it. You'll see how much bullshit you're actually writing. You want to eliminate adverbs. You want to strengthen the verbs. Break up long sentences and remove redundant points. Word vomit and then edit afterwards. You'll see actually saying, wow, did I write this? Why did I write this? So yeah. Stop writing emails that sucks. The difference between mediocre and exceptional email copywriting isn't their talent. It's actually applying the right framework consistently. So when you have the framework, you always know something you can lean upon, something you can support yourself on, right? Most brands actually overcomplicate email copywriting, focus on the wrong elements. They write clever emails that get praised, but actually don't drive revenue. So do you want to write clever emails, or do you want to, scale your business and drive some revenue through email? If it's not skimmable, it won't get read. If it's not clear and concise, it won't get understood. If it's not engaging, it won't drive action. Simple as that. So now you know how to go and write emails that don't suck. Do you want to talk about email copywriting? You can book a call right here. I won't try to sell you anything. I just want to understand your business and see if we strike up a good conversation. Let's see where it leads. You want our 80-page email marketing Bible? You can obviously download that right here in the document. Otherwise, now you know how to write email copy that actually sells. See some more YouTube videos of mine. I have a bunch of in my channel, or our channel. So yeah, thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you somewhere. Peace.